Hi, I'm Mary Director, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I have a blog. It's KreatesKards.com. I also have a Stampin' Up! Website, which is marydirector.stampinup.net. At the end of the video, I'll bring this back. Also, the links will show in the comment section of my YouTube video. Today we're going to be making a card, which is a wedding card, Happy I Do Day. This one is in pink, but the one we're going to do is going to be using Bashful Blue. It uses flower accent, and some of the products that I'm showing you today in this card are specifically from our Spring Mini catalog. And this catalog is only valid until the end of May. We're never told ahead of time whether or not these products are going to be carried over. So if it is a product that's in this catalog and it's something you're really interested in, I recommend that you purchase now while you can. Okay, I'm going to turn these things over a little bit to make it a little easier to see. I'm going to do the Big Shot items first. We're using the Happy I Do stamp, and this is from the stamp set called Wordplay. It's a 2 container set. In clear, it's item number 120651. It's got some great sayings. I really like it. Good for many occasions. I'm going to stamp in Early Espresso, the sentiment. I always test it out on our grid paper or a separate piece of paper first to make sure that I've got a good clear stamp image. Okay. That's with Early Espresso. You could use any color ink you'd like, though. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use the Big Shot. And I'm going to use framelets. So what I'm going to do, I'm hoping you can see this. I'm taking my multi-purpose platform, laying it flat, one of the cutting plates, and these are well marked. You can use them until they crack, so it is fine to use. I'm going to take my stamped image here. I'm using 2 different frame sets today. The first one, I have these on magnetic sheets. The first one, it's on this side, is called Heart Aflutter. And then the other set is on this side, and this is Dressed Up. Each one of these framelets has a ridge on it. The ridge is the cutting edge, so it goes down. So I'm going to center that as best I can. And then I'm going to put our dress so that we have the wedding dress. Then I'm going to put another cutting plate on top, hold it in place, and crank it through. If your machine creaks a little when you put it through, that's normal. Don't be concerned. And we just punch that. Punch that. Now these take off your paper right away. Otherwise, you take the risk. They're so lightweight in actual weight. They're pretty sturdy, though, of throwing them away, that you'll forget that they're on the paper. So that's just my suggestion, is that you get the framelit off the paper right away. Now we're going to use, the framelets, let me go back to those in a minute. The Dress Up framelets, oh, I don't see the number. What I'll do is on these ones, I will give you the item number. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. Framelets, Dress Up. Item number 130101. and Hearts of Flutter is 130159. We're going to use an embossing folder, and the embossing folder is going to add texture to the dress. And the one I'm using is called Fancy Fan, and it's item number 127751. When you use the embossing folders, you're going to open up the platform, put down a cutting plate. I'm going to take the dress, and the dress I want the fan to go this way rather than this way on the dress. So it's just a matter of how you position it on the folder. Okay, and then another cutting plate. Bring the big shot back. And then crank it through. I wanted to show this card start to finish, so it will be a little bit longer video than normal, but that way you get to see all the techniques along the way. Then you open up the embossing folder, and there's the texture. And this is upraised. This is down, goes down in, so either way, I like the upraised. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to set our dress aside, but I am now going to take Bashful Blue, classic ink. I've taken one of our round stamping sponges and I've cut it into 6 pieces, little pie wedges. You just rub your sponge across so you get some ink on it. Again, you could do this in any color. I'm doing it to match the card base. And then you just go through, and I do it more straight up and down when I'm doing it. If I want the ink with more coverage, then come in sideways and go like this. So it's just a different way that you'll, get your coverage and your look. And just put as much or as little as you want. If you wanted, you could sponge over the top of the stamped image too. This, put this down and then pat on the top if you want a little more blue highlights in that. I always recommend closing up your ink cases as soon as you're finished so the ink doesn't dry out. Here in Arizona, it's extremely warm, and we're already wearing shorts and lightweight shirts, so I have the ceiling fan on, so I always try to close my ink stamp pads up right away. Okay, I'm going to use a Bashful Blue card base. It's an A2, and so it's 5.5 by 8.5. I've scored it 4.25. I'm going to turn it over. This was already scored, and I'm using the bone folder, pressing down and making a crisp fold. When you do it this way with your hand on top, you get a nice crisp fold. If you do it this way, you're going to get an indentation in the card. So just, be very careful when you do it. Just have to go a couple times. Then what I'm going to do is decide how I want this set. I like it this way. I want this to be upraised a little more because on this card, the flowers have dimension. So I want to also bring up the Happy I Do. I don't know if you can see that on the video or not. So I'm going to use dimensionals. And because this is a larger piece, I'm going to use 3. Dimensionals come on a honeycomb sheet. They're double-sided. So when you take it off, the back side, as you can see, is going to be very sticky. And it's got a protective film over the other side. You put it on the back and then just peel it off. And then I want to make sure this opens right. Okay, so my fold is on this side. Here's my happy I do. And then I'm going to use snail adhesive to adhere the dress. And the dress, I want to leave a little bit of room down here because of the flowers. There's a little bit of puffiness to them. Okay, put that on. Now what I'm going to do with the flowers, I used the vanilla 5/8 inch flower trim. It's item number 126869, and it is in the spring catalog. So it is an item that we know we'll have till the end of May, but not a guarantee that we'll have it after that. And also, if quantities sell out, it could be gone before then. The flower trim comes in a roped style, ribbon style, and there's netting on the back. So what I've done, this card takes 9 of them. I've already pre-cut these out, and I've made them into individual flowers. And the reason I've done this is because it's easier to work with. Easier to manipulate. I've also used our multi-purpose Tomboy glue to attach these. So I took my rope or my ribbon of flowers. I cut each flower individually, and then on the back I trimmed the netting down so that the netting isn't going to hang over the flower. We're going to attach them, 2, 3 in this row, 4 in this row. I start at the waist. Now, one thing I'll show you too, I'm keeping my glue in this is an antique toothpick holder. Anything that you can hold, that will hold your glue, that's great because then the glue stays down in the tip. Just a little crafting tip there for you. It's a white glue that dries clear. I'm putting a good amount, not a huge, but a good amount on there. And then I'm adding it to my dress and adding a little bit of pressure. Because I'm using the multi-purpose glue, this is going to be movable for a few minutes. So that gives me an added bonus. Then I can manipulate it if I've got, put one flower too close together or too far apart, that I can move it. Okay, our next row is going to have 3, and then our final row is going to have 4. Like I said, this one I'm showing you start to finish, so there will be a little extra time in here as I'm doing it, but I again wanted to show you the full, the full effect. Also, again, I'm pushing these so they match up, trying to get where it's a nice layout for them. In this one, I've got the flower over a little bit too far, but because I've used this white multi-purpose glue, I can move these. And so again, a very good added bonus. If you had used dimensionals or glue dots, any of those, they're stuck the minute you put them down. So this is a real advantage when you're working with something like the flowers. Oh, this looks really nice. I'm pleased with this. You could do this card in any color. The other thing with the dresses, if you wanted, you could do thank you cards for the bride to give to her bridesmaids and do the dresses in the same color as the bridesmaids' dresses. Make it, the dress for the bridesmaid. Move that one over. Okay, and we're going to put pressure. Not a huge amount, but just enough so it... Okay, so we have our dress done. Now what I want to do is I want to accent it with pearls. Our Jewels Basic Pearls are item 119247. Multiple sizes, large, medium, tiny, and then rows of it also. What I find is the easiest is to take your scissors and come up underneath the pearl and lift up and then bring it over to where you want it on the item and press, oops, I guess I didn't get the adhesive. Sorry about that. It usually works every time. If you, well, I'm doing something wrong today. Okay, I'm gonna bypass the pearls. I'm doing something wrong, and because I'm doing a video, I'm just gonna stop. Normally those would come right off. I would put 3 of them like we've done here. If like this where the adhesive on the pearl stayed here on the paper, what I could do is I could put a little dot of glue behind it. I could put a glue dot behind it. I can come back in and pick up the glue dot here and put it together. But again, because of the time involved here, I'm going to leave it alone. And there's the 2 versions, one in pink, one in blue. This is Bashful Blue. It is one of the colors that's being retired. But again, the card could be done in any. If you wanted to do it white on white, you could do it also with a white card base. Thank you so much for watching my videos today. I appreciate it. And again, if you want to follow my blog, I have tutorials, and not only tutorials, but I also have photos and ideas posted 5 days a week on my stamping blog. So I don't do as many videos, but I do post to my blog on a very regular basis. Also, if you're ready to order Stampin' Up! Products, you can order from marydirector.stampinup.net. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please leave them here in the question and comment section, or come over to my blog once the video is posted, and you could leave questions there also. Thank you.